Something in comics that's near and dear to my heart is Valiant. Valiant Comics, since the 2012 relaunch, really had something special going on with a shared universe like none other. Now, this was also the case with the 90s version of Valiant, but I'm not going to go into that in the videos today. I'm just going to talk about the relaunch, the history of it, and what happened here. Now, in 2012, it was relaunched by a fellow named Dinesh Shamdasani, and Dinesh brought the company forward and rebooted a bunch of titles in the Valiant universe. This included X-O Manowar and Harbinger and Bloodshot. It started with some great stuff all the way around, and lots of great talent came in. We saw people like Robert Venditti writing books, Matt Kindt. They put some heavy-hitting artists on there like Louis LaRosa and Doug Braithwaite. Wonderful stuff, and from the art and the writing perspective, the Valiant universe was the best in the business for a while. These relaunches went very well. They started putting some team books together, and it honestly was just something super refreshing in comics. The characters actually changed. They developed. It looked like they were honoring continuity. It was very much not like what we were seeing from Marvel and DC at the time with the constant relaunches, people dying, coming back to life. It felt very, very refreshing through this. Valiant also experimented with some new properties. A great book called Britannia came out, which is by Peter Milligan, who is a heavy-hitting writer himself. And these new properties also did very, very well and were highly regarded by fans. Now, this kept cooking along. They've done a few relaunches. They did a few crossovers and events with the industry, and they actually pioneered some changes with the comics, where you could pre-order like the whole run in advance. So you'd get all of X-O Manowar 1 through 6, and you pay for it up front with your comic shop, and they give you an exclusive pre-order only edition for that, and you get some bonuses in the back of the book. It was a really cool initiative. They tried a lot of different marketing initiatives that I never saw before in the comic book industry, and this marketing really paid off. I mean, these did pretty well, and the company was cooking along with just great products, and everybody in the Valiant community was very happy. And it was a great community. You could actually just like talk to everybody who was reading Valiant Comics because it was a niche of a niche, and you built some friends and something that was a little more of a cohesive online unit than you'd get with like Marvel and DC fans out there. And so these events were things like the article says here. The changes actually stuck through here, and Valiant was doing a great thing with these characters. Now, this article mentions some places to start, and it was great. I think my favorite books of this entire run were Rye /4001 AD, and Harbinger by Joshua Dysart, and X-O Manowar by Robert Venditti, and then Matt Kindt were probably my three favorite books out of that. And they're all pretty standalone. I mean, they do cross over at some points with the rest of the Valiant universe, but you can pretty much enjoy them on your own, which is a rarity in modern comics these days. Now, they produced some great stuff in terms of like some oversized hardcovers of these editions, which are getting hard to find now. And those continued along, and they did most of them. And if you're watching from Alien Books, who's publishing them now, please print Unity Volume 2 of this. I need this to finish my collection. I can't handle it. That is the one thing I ask as a fan at this juncture. Now, they are doing some reprints of this stuff in trade paperback form and the like, but we want that. Now, what happened was later on, D&G, a Chinese conglomerate, bought Valiant. And this happened, I think in 2017, D&G Valiant, and 2018. So DMG bought this in 2018, and they were going to be more of a movie property. And so during this, they had Dinesh on as a consultant, working with the Bloodshot movie, which was going to star Vin Diesel. And honestly, I know a lot of people didn't like that movie. I actually found it pretty decent. I had fun with it. It was not the best movie ever, but it was all right. It was enjoyable. And so that was a part of it, but pretty soon we found that like the editorial staff was getting laid off. The writers who were working before were not working for them anymore, and D&G just replaced everybody with various people. During this replacement, they brought on an infamous editor named Heather Antos. And Heather Antos brought in all of her cronies to start writing these books during this period. And what happened was DMG would only put out 1 or 2 books a month. They would be late. You wouldn't have them on the stands very often, and the quality diminished drastically. It looked like they were cheaping out the art and the writing, and the continuity seemed to evaporate. Everything was just a disaster during this time period. Of course, COVID hit, which made things worse in terms of supply logistics. There were paper shortages, which were causing problems. And this was a big train wreck for Valiant Comics. Heather Antos is notorious for, of course, bringing in people who are more political-based hires than they are talent. And she eventually left for IDW when she, I guess, got a pay raise and a promotion there. But the damage was done. X-O Manowar was a train wreck by the end of this. And there were very few books coming out. Bloodshot was unrecognizable to what it was before. Very sad stuff during this period in Valiant. Now, Valiant also launched a Kickstarter at the time, which made things even worse. And I'm pulling this up for you guys. Here is the Eternal Warrior Scorched Earth graphic novel. Now, this came out, and it only had 531 backers. Now, I'm a comic creator here, and my last book got a lot more backers than this. That's a very bad sign for a property like Eternal Warrior, that's all it was garnering. Now, this book really took 2-3 years to get out, and it was not that long of a book, so there was no reason for that to be the case. DMG dropped the ball on it. Apparently, they weren't even paying some of their talent. They were having problems with negotiations on that. And it took Alien Books coming in and revitalizing things to even get this book out. And this happened in 2023, last year. Alien Books took back over Valiant after the Dark Years, not Master Dark, but like the Dark Ages. And they are working on revitalizing the line now. Now, we had a beautiful period from 2012 to 2017, a bad period from 2018 to about 2023. And then books started coming out again. So there are some vestiges of the old Valiant. Of course, Antos hasn't been there for a while, so the newer stuff's a little better. But then Alien Books took over and started, hiring artists for their one-shots and the like. They got this out. They started putting out hardcover editions of some of the newer stuff, which are very nice books, and I really like them. From my just binding and book size perspective. And it's nice to see somebody actually caring about the universe again. Now, we've got a few of these comics out already, and Alien Books then announced a resurgence of the Valiant universe. So after they basically took X-O Manowar, finished it off by putting the 2 issues that were left in the series to produce into a digest volume of both. They did the same thing with Ninjak. And then they released hardcovers of those once those lines were done. And then they started doing their own thing with this universe. It started out with a couple one-shots. They had a very Valentine's special, which is silly, and it was a Valentine's Day themed thing. And in this, it was a bunch of stories that weaved together and restarted the Valiant universe and made sure that everything was connected. Very cool stuff. This was the brainchild of Lissa Hawkins, who is one of the maybe the current editor of the line right now. And she wove these stories together masterfully. And this was her idea to put this together. I got to give her a lot of credit for this revitalization of the universe. And then they started a new Bloodshot line. You can see Britannia came back, Livewire's back, Punk Mambo. They started bringing some characters back that people cared about. And then they're going to be making a team book called The Valiants. Now, this is a new event, and what's happening in the universe right now is X-O Manowar is dead, Ninjak is on the run, and it looks like the main group, which was called Unity before, which they are referencing in this event, they are referencing the past continuity, which is great, is kind of out of action, and they need some new people to take over, which is going to be the Valiant book. And it looks like they're tying everything very nicely together. Now, I've read the Valentine's special, loved it. Read the Britannia one-shot there, which actually ties Britannia into the greater Valiant universe through the Eternal Warrior. Very cool. Really like that concept a lot. And I think they're on the right track here. Now, I'm a trade/omnibus reader, so I don't know how much I'm going to get in single issues until this is all done. But this is the kind of the history of the Valiant universe and where it went. So I do recommend starting with the books I mentioned. I would go back to 2012 with Harbinger and X-O Manowar and Rye. I think that's a great spot to start your reading. But these seem to pick up pretty well here too, as a new jumping on point. And you can kind of skip those Dark Ages period where DMG was running things before Alien Books took over the publishing. Now, I hope Alien Books is here to stay and is here for a while, and I hope that these initiatives work out well, and that's why I'm promoting it here on the channel. I like alternatives towards Marvel and DC Comics, and I like independent comics, and this is a good spot to land if you're into superheroes. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.